To further elaborate on this issue, we're now joined by Nir Hirschman, who's the head of regulation in the Israeli Bitcoin Association. Nir Hirschman, thank you for being with us. And first, when we're speaking of Bitcoin mining, it's not as if we're finding miners deep underground searching for gold or coal. This is not the case.
This is not the case. Actually, Bitcoin mining is something that's being done in huge data centers and where large computers are calculating something that will help organize and arrange the system, the monetary system, which is Bitcoin. But I have to say one more thing about it. You know, if banks lost 18% of their computing power in one day, transfers would stall and people would lose access to their money. You know, riots would break out. But Bitcoin is a completely different system, and here it's its advantage. You know, we see that mining, that is the computer power that secures and enables their arrangements of the network, of the transfers in the network, can change sharply, but the monetary system of Bitcoin survives almost unscratched. So, and you know, one more thing, when we're looking at Bitcoin, when we're looking at Bitcoin's supply of power, we can see that the next epoch, the next arrangement of the Bitcoin difficulty system is going to be actually even more difficult, meaning that this change did not really affect the Bitcoin network. And I have to say one more thing. The heart goes out to Kazakhstan liberty fighters, but I don't think that this is the reason that affected the Bitcoin rates now. It does affect the network, but you know, this coming Saturday, an update that was planned before for the degree of the degree of the difficulty of the system will happen, and the system will arrange itself again. And we can see that this system does not take effect, even if 20% of the computing power is lost in one day.
And an interesting issue: why Kazakhstan? Why is Kazakhstan such a major hub for cryptocurrency, for Bitcoin?
Well, Kazakhstan actually has low electricity fees. Generally, this is something that for Bitcoin miners, this is something that is very, very important. As much as your electricity is cheaper, the more profit that you can make out of Bitcoin. We saw that a few months ago. Kazakhstan actually enrolled a new tax on Bitcoin miners. So electricity became a little less cheap, but it's still very, very cheap. But I have to say one thing, that when you're mining, when you're doing this very, very this computational system and authoritarian regimes on countries that are not democratic, you're exposing yourself to a lot of risks. We saw what happened in China. We saw what happened in China a few months ago when China just decided one day to cut off all Bitcoin mining facilities. We saw a drop of 30% in the. We saw a drop of 30% of the Bitcoin network hash power. That is the power of arranging and securing the system. But still, the system does not. The system isn't affected by it. You can say that it's not affected by it because there's enough computing power that helps arrange the system. And you can say that it's not affected because the protocol is designed. The protocol is robust. The protocol was tested for long years, and it can handle those kind of fluctuations. This is a monetary system. This is a coin that acts with no government. So it has to overcome those kind of obstacles that authoritarian regimes and other things are
posing to them.
I think nobody.
Yes.
Yeah. And just one more thing about Bitcoin. I don't know, me and anybody else, we don't know why Bitcoin shifts. We don't know why it goes up, why it goes down. The only thing where Bitcoin rates goes up or go down, I think that the only thing that if you're coming into Bitcoin, you need to think is, do you believe in this economic? Do you believe in this financial system? Do you believe that this is something that will take us to the future? And if so, you can get in, but only if you've learned, if you've studied, and then again, you know, do not risk more money than you can actually lose.
Many issues there regarding Bitcoin. Nir Hirschman, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.